Hello everyone, welcome back to part 2 of this 3-part replay. Enrix apologizing that he hasn't played in a long time, and I'm telling my partner, like, you know what, just be calm and we can still have this. A lot of times when an early player gets taken out due to a mere rush, the partner will be able to come back with better play or better upgrades or do something in order to really continue to push this out. Overseer now sitting up there, and I also have a single observer asking my partner if he has minerals, and I want to be able to mass up a large enough army just in case anything does in fact happen. Taking a look at the Skillsaw sitting on a very large army, and me on the other hand only sitting on 1275, trying to warp in more units. I do in fact have level 2 upgrades on my stalkers now, and I believe I'm going to start researching level 3 very shortly. Yeah, finally getting level 3 upgrades, so my stalkers trying to get to level 3 as quickly as possible. Overlords now moving around, carrying a couple roaches in their belly, as I have a couple cannons up on this position trying to be able to push back against perhaps any attacks. So the 20 damage. Now Enrix telling me to watch out for any drops in my base. Because I do have a stalker army with blink, these units will be able to move fairly quickly and get anywhere they need to get going in a hurry, perhaps being able to defend locations very easily. Moving out, bringing in some pylons around my map, enabling me to get better view just in case he tries to Nidus worm me or tries to do anything particularly sneaky. Taking a look at my main base, I finally try to, not full saturation, but at least get a couple more probes in my base in order to fight back even more. We're now running off of 5 gateways. So those 5 gateways, and now I'm moving back with these stalkers once again, currently sitting on 12 stalkers. I am warping in some additional, I will be warping in some additional gateways in this position, as I will be able to, in fact, what's it called? What? I'm not even thinking straight anymore. Anyways, one of the things I did want to say is you can use the chrono boost on the cooldown of a warp gate. So what that allows you to do is, normally these warp gates have a little bit of a cooldown right here, and it's the cooldown remaining. Someone told me, here, let's take a look at this. That cooldown remaining 17, 16, yeah, moving very, very quickly on that cooldown. So I will be able to warp in additional units if I in fact need to. I'm sitting on a fair number of minerals, and now I'm going to be trying to use these stalkers to the best of my ability, trying to figure out what exactly I can do. Gonna go ahead and move right up into here and then blink up to that high ledge. So just blinking up into that high ledge, and I'm hoping that he has no real counter for this, and he in fact does not, as these stalkers are just moving into the space, trying to take down so many of these units. And now he's sitting upside down on food and now blinking into that mineral line. So as I blink into that mineral line, I'm able to focus down some of these units so easily and just taking down some of these overlords. Skillsaw down to 37 over 52 food. I'm sitting on 73 over 100. And his partner sitting at 73 over 92, and going to be bringing in some zealots. Those zealots, however, would not be able to easily surround my units, so this is going to be a little bit of a problem for him. And here comes those stalkers trying to once again re-engage, trying to focus down these units, trying to constantly blink away, trying to micro these units so that I can continue to deal damage while they are not. I'm going to go ahead and fight in this position right here, as I'm able to, as only some of these zealots and some of those roaches are able to continue to fight. Now moving down over here to this low edge. And wow, I completely messed that up. Alright, welcome back everyone. I kind of messed up the window on my screen, so everything probably just jumped around for you guys just a little bit. Well, hopefully that now has all been fixed. Coming back over here, Stalker's still able to use that blink ability fairly effectively, trying to take down as many of these units as possible. I am just trying to micro these units away, trying to micro these units. As long as I can micro these units, I'm feeling pretty confident that I can really start to focus down more of these fights, trying to focus down these units, trying to focus down some of those zealots, taking down that lead zealot, now trying to move back away once again. I'm trying to just continue to blink. If I'm able to blink around that map and able to just disrupt economy, that would be a very, very strong move. And in comes some probes, so probes now trying to move back away. Zealots trying to once again re-engage me. I blink once again, and now those probes are getting in the way of those zealots. Now I'm able to move back away, continuing to try to fight onto this high ground. And this large army of stalkers just constantly harassing this whole entire time, able to deal so much damage, going from one side, one base to another. And finally that stalker is finally taken down, but my 20 damage stalker has finally been destroyed. So zealots now once again trying to re-engage, and all that time I was trying to warp in and build up more units. So coming back over here, I realized that I'm sitting on 2,500 minerals. I was trying to warp in units at the same time, My partner also, Enrix, did give me some additional minerals as well. That's why he's so low on minerals, even though he's pretty much fully saturated. So I realized that if I have that many minerals, I can just continue to warp in more and more units. In comes some overlords. Those overlords now trying to come back into my base. I'm going to try to warp in over here. And no, and instead, I think I see this drop, and I realize that there's going to be a drop in my base, as there was a couple mules, couple overlords, and roaches now trying to push back in. So I have a couple cannons over here. So those cannons are in fact going to be able to offer me some protection. And my partner pings my base and makes sure that I realize what's happening. I'm going to go ahead and move these probes away as these roaches now trying to come in, trying to deal as much damage as they can. I'm going to go ahead and blink up a lot of these stalkers. So I have 16 stalkers trying to fight against those roaches. Those roaches really unable to engage any of those units. I'm going to go ahead and focus down as many roaches as I can, focusing them down and then getting them all within range, so those stalkers can continue to fight. Gonna lose one roach in this whole entire fight. Now trying to take down some of these overlords, some of these overseers, and gonna be able to take them down so quickly, as they are in fact armored units dealing the full 20 damage. I'm gonna start researching that shield upgrade momentarily, as I realize I need more and more shields. Trying to warp in more units. Pockyninja trying to bring in some zealots. I didn't even realize that I was losing these units over here, so that's a little bit of a miscue on my part. Now stalkers coming back, trying to fight back against these zealots. Zealots will not be able to come in and take down any of these units. I am warping in 4 more warp gates, so I'm going to have a collection of 9 warp gates able to just push back out. Pockyninja now coming in with more carriers. Carriers trying to take down as many units as possible, but because of my stalkers, I am able to focus fire down these units fairly easily. So another carrier taken down. So only 2 carriers left. I kind of misblinked off of that, and I really wanted to not blink back away. Really want to take down these carriers. Only 2 carriers left, but these stalkers are not going to be able to get onto that high ground. One important thing to note: when you have warp gate, you definitely need a little bit of open space in a Protoss base. I did not have any additional or any room to really warp in any additional stalkers. So even though I had plenty of stalkers to warp in, I could warp in 7 stalkers right now. I didn't have open pylon power anywhere except for over here, and I didn't want to try to really mine out of warp in over here, as that's a little bit far away from the engagement. Pockyninja does have upgrades on his carriers, so those interceptors dealing 7 damage each. I'm finally trying to start to get some upgrades on my stalkers. I think I get those shield upgrades now. No, not quite yet. I'm still sitting on a fair amount of minerals and not that much gas, so I realize I need to start mining gas back from my my main base over here, and I'm going to start trying to mine out of my main base as well. Taking a look at the income is pretty even at this time. Skillsaw, however, only mining 362. Pockyninja a little bit higher than me, but Enrix higher than Skillsaw at this stage in the game, as he is once again mining out of this location as well, trying to mass up a large enough army to really do anything, mining out of this natural expansion. So I'm pretty much fighting a 2v1 as my partner Enrix is going to go ahead and try to mass up more units. Taking a look at this, going to go ahead and blink around with more of these stalkers, warping in more stalkers, but very low on gas, so unable to really warp in any more units, still sitting on 1700 minerals. So I'm going to go ahead and start warping in some zealots as well. These zealots going to be used in order to just run in as suicide fodder, trying to take down these this main base over here, and really using the stalkers as the main front of this army. So stalkers now once again moving back out. Well, I want to make sure that there is nothing on this high ground, so I'm going to go ahead and check this high yield minerals, and he's in fact not mining from these high yield minerals, and that gives me a sigh of relief. But in come 5 more carriers, so 5 carriers, 34 interceptors going to be trying to come in, able to quickly take down this assimilator. So assimilator getting taken down and just trying to move in across the map. My stalkers on the other hand going to be trying to blink back in, trying to once again re-engage. Stay tuned for part 3 and the conclusion of this replay between here from the Starcraft 2 beta.